people try to base their identity in whatever they do,
Hmm.
whoever they think they are, um, and not on who you are. You are a son of a son of God.
All right, Mr. Luis Buentello, candidate for District 34 for Congress. Thank you for joining me in the den.
Well, thank you for the invitation. I'm honored to be here with you.
So we're going to jump right in that you're running for Congress.
Yes.
You are candidate number what?
I think as of last week, there's a total of 9 candidates in the race.
9 candidates.
Mm-hmm.
And
Six from the Valley and 3 from Corpus Christi area.
And you were number?
I was number...
Not that it matters, right?
5, 6.
Oh, does it matter what time you jump in?
It does not matter at all.
Right. So when somebody says, "Man, you're coming in late," well, what do you think they mean by that?
When they say that you're coming in late, is because a lot of people, if commit to a candidate early on, because those are the ones running at this time, and they start committing, and then sometimes what happens, someone else jumps in like, "Oh, I like that.
I would have, but ya me cometí.
Yeah.
Comprometí.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So there's 9 candidates. Do you suspect that there's going to be more coming in?
I don't think so.
I thought I heard rumors that there was going to be at least another 2.
It could happen. It could happen, but I don't know.
So if you did know, you wouldn't be able to say.
Oh, no.
Does it matter? It doesn't really
matter.
So let me ask, why do you think that there's so many candidates for this District 34?
Well, because this is an unusual situation. Usually when you have an incumbent of the same party, not a lot of people jump on that race, because NRCC, especially in the Republican Party, NRCC will jump and back the incumbent.
Yeah.
But in this case, there's no Republican incumbent.
Right.
So everybody's jumping on at that opportunity to probably get the ticket.
Incumbent is over there in District 15. Mónica de la Cruz.
Yes, Mónica de la Cruz. Uh-huh.
How do you suppose que le va a ir allá?
I don't know. There's been changes on her district as well. Now she's going to be covering over here San Patricio and Aranza's Refugio.
And possibly running against Bobby.
I'm Bobby. Bobby has a lot of name recognition, and sometimes that helps a lot, knowing, having that name that people recognize.
They recognize. They
Yep.
see it on the ballot, and even if they hadn't seen it before, didn't know they were running, they know that name, they're going to vote for
even
them.
if they don't have the experience,
Yeah. So there's 9 candidates so far. How many are Hispanic? Todos menos uno, right? 2 maybe?
No.
I think Mr. Keith Allen.
This one.
And
Keith Allen, Jay Nagy.
Jay Nagy.
From Brownsville.
But la mayoría son hispanos. Majority Hispanic, and it's a Republican. It's on the Republican Party that you're running on.
Yes.
And there's majority Hispanics running. Some would say that that's unheard of, that the Republican candidates are Hispanic. What's been happening amongst the Hispanic people that now you're getting the majority of candidates in a district being Hispanic?
Well, I think that the party has gone through a lot of changes in the last decade. But especially if the closer you are to the border, you might find more Hispanic Republicans. And but it also has changed. The dynamics in the Valley changed in the last election. I think most of the counties along the border from Texas went for Trump. A lot of them got tired of the issues with
open borders.
The open borders, and they didn't like what happened with that.
Yeah,
and it affected them, a lot of them. So that's why they tried to change vote differently this time.
There's a lot of stereotype that Hispanics are against any type of immigration, but that's not really the case in border towns. Like and even legal immigrants, um, they tend to be pro strong immigration. Am I correct on that?
Yes, and our country in general is pro immigration, legal immigration.
Mhm.
Every single year, our government, the United States, issues a million visas to immigrate into the U.S. Every year. There's a million people immigrate legally into the U.S. So we're not anti-immigration.
Mhm.
Um, we just gotta control who comes in, and we're not in favor of illegal immigration.
Do me a favor, move the mic just a little bit
Closer,
closer
of
to you.
course.
There you go.
Okay.
Because we want to hear that. There's a million applications, this is too.
Well, there's more than a million, but only by statute, only a million are admitted every year.
Only.
Only,
Sounds like a lot.
yes, yes,
So when Biden was president, how many were coming in?
in the millions.
Millions.
Yeah, those 4 years, a lot of millions.
What was the purpose, you think, behind that administration trying to get as many illegal immigrants into the country as possible?
It is hard to tell. I don't want to speculate in that. I hear different people. People say different things. Um, People say, uh, to gain more support from the Hispanics in the election, in the future elections from on the Democratic ticket. Uh,
But they were being very strategic, where they put them, places where they could gain more seats
mhm,
just by population. They would gain more seats if it was in a Democratic state.
mhm.
They'd get more representation as Democrats. They weren't necessarily taking them, I think, to Republican populated areas, more Democratic, just to get more representation of
Exactly.
already.
So if you bring a lot of them into one state, you will have to increase the number of congressional seats,
Mhm.
and that matters in Congress
Mhm.
in terms of the majority.
Right.
Yep.
Right. Very strategic.
Mhm.
They knew what they
No,
were doing.
they knew what they were doing. Yes.
Yeah. Where are you from?
I was born in Ciudad Victoria,
Ciudad
Tamaulipas.
Victoria. All right.
Born and raised.
So would you? I don't know that this would be the case for you. Would you be a first time Mexican born congressman if you won? I know that was the case with Mayra Flores.
Well, I think she was a
Female.
firstborn Republican
Mm.
woman in Texas. I'm not sure on the details, but I know the first Republican foreign born.
Mhm. We're not like I think people here in the United States, especially here in our area, Nueces County, where the Hispanics are more fourth, fifth generation
Mhm.
people that have been here for a long period of time. They were not born in Mexico; they're born here. They have this strange connection with Mexico. They feel as if though they have to defend any little thing that has to do with Mexico that even Mexicans don't feel like should be defended. You being from Ciudad Victoria, Mexico, how do you feel about that relationship there that the United States has with Mexico, especially like with Trump administration?
I totally support President Trump in what he's doing, as long as he abides by our Constitution and he's legally able to do what he's doing based on the authority given to him by our Constitution. I'm okay with that.
¿Y cómo lo miran? How do the Mexicans view Trump and his
A
administration?
lot of them don't like it. Even my family members in Mexico, back in 2016, when he first got elected, and I voted for him, uh, my sisters were not happy with me.
Really?
Oh yeah, they I talk to them quite often. My mom, I call my mom almost every week, and and they were not happy with me.
Mhm.
I'm like, hey, you live in Mexico, you have your own issues over there.
Why weren't they happy? Como Mexicanos, like what is their
They
issue?
think of him as a racist, and I don't think he's a
Mhm.
racist. You know, he is who he is.
Mhm.
Vocal, opinionated, very strong opinions, and he's just a human being.
I find it very strange that people don't take the time to do a little bit of research for themselves and see his history within the African American community, even with Hispanics, and other nationalities and races. I mean, anybody that would have seen him prior running for president would have said this guy is not even close to being a racist.
Exactly.
De repente, you jump into the political world, and
On the wrong side, according to some.
right,
That's all it takes.
right, and it's strange because on the Democratic platform, just a couple years, just I think it was maybe it was in 2020 that you would see the debate stage on the Democratic side, and there was all white
Mhm.
men, older white men, and you saw the Republican, and there was Cubans, there was Black African Americans, there was
Yes.
Indians, there was women,
Yep.
all kinds of different nationalities. Yet we're the racist. The Republicans are the racist party.
They gotta push their agenda no matter what.
But you would think the common person doesn't take the time just to do a
No,
little bit of
that's a
research.
reality.
Just
That's a
look what's
fact.
in front of them.
That's a fact. And it happens at all levels, even local people. I don't think people take the time to do the research on the issues or either propositions or candidates.
Mhm.
In But that happens. It's easy just to vote for whatever, or some people they're so loyal to their party,
Mhm.
and no matter what, it doesn't matter. I'm gonna vote my party.
That's pretty strange, right?
Mm.
I think that happens in a lot of things. People get like the gang mentality, or
Mhm.
the group mentality, and this is my
La palanca.
and this is my group, this is my race, this is my religion, this is my political party, and they stop thinking for themselves.
Mhm.
It's like they turn off their brain. Moving a little bit off of this subject, and we'll jump back into it a little bit. But I was speaking with Pastor David Bendet,
Okay.
who happens to be
My
your
pastor.
pastor from Rock City Church,
Yes.
and he speaks obviously very highly of you. He let me know that you were running, and we talked about having you on the podcast, and I said absolutely, I would love to have him. I've seen you in and around events that involve Rock City and Pastor, and other political events that I've seen you. We were just talking about having seen you at the State of Energy
Yep.
not that long ago, which was a pretty neat meeting, even though that was held in another location. That was a little bit rough, but it was still an interesting meeting to listen to what they had to say about the state of oil and
Yes.
gas in the state of Texas. Is amazing.
Oh yeah.
So Pastor David Bendet is your pastor, and you go to Rock City.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about that. I mean, how did
Yes.
you end up in Rock City? And
I ended up in Rock City back in 2016. So at the time, I was working for Congressman Blake Farenthold,
Mhm.
and they had an event on Friday, December the 2nd, 2016, and it was some gala. And at the time, my district director said, "Hey, you like church? There's this event in this church. Go represent the office." I'm like, sure. So I went, and I saw a lot of people that I knew from our community, from Corpus Christi. And at the end of the event, they invited me. "Hey, come Sunday, bring your family." At that time, I was going to, I was attending a different church,
Mhm.
and I said, "No, no, that's fine. We already have a church." "No, no, no, please bring your family. Just come. We'll like to have you here." So I said, "Yes, I'll be here Sunday with my family." So Sunday came along, December 4th, and we had to. My girls were little at that time, so it takes longer to get ready when you have babies. And I said, "You know what? We're running late. Forget it. Let's go back to our church." But then I said, "You know what? I'm sorry. I gave my word that I was going, so I need to keep my word." So I went to the church on December 4th, and oh my goodness, it was just amazing.
Mhm.
When I arrived and worship alone, it was so refreshing to me. Worship at Rock City is not part of, oh, it's just something that we have to do at church. No, no, they really wanted to worship, and I felt it. And I felt the Spirit in the Holy Spirit in it. And, but not only that, I had been in Corpus at that time for almost 3 years, 4 years. So I had a lot of community in Corpus Christi, but not my wife. My wife, we homeschool our girls. So she was always home. She had no friends. I was always out and about working for Congressman Farenthold. But when we went to Rock City, there was a lot of families in the same situation as ours, young babies,
Mhm.
toddlers. So my wife felt like, oh my goodness, finally a church where I can have people that I can relate to. So we went back to our pastor. We told him, you know what, I think we're moving, and he understood.
Mhm.
He said, I tried to get young people.
Mm.
That church that we attended um, did not have community for people our age,
Mhm.
and it was hard on my wife, not having
Mhm.
friends, always home with the girls. So we made the jump to move to Rock City, and
Mhm.
it's been great. I've been serving there since 2017. I started on the Usher ministry, uh, helping, and now since September 2020, I've been the lead usher and head of security of the church.
Wow.
Hmm.
So how has that changed your life? Because I don't think people really understand how your life changes when you start going to church, and not just receiving Christ. Obviously, that's life changing,
Yes.
but becoming a committed part
Hmm.
of a church and where you're an intricate piece there. How does that affect your life?
Definitely it affects because you get to know people, especially those in leadership, and where you become really close with them, and there's always accountability.
Hmm.
And I love that, because we're humans. We're imperfect by nature, and they help us in the process, in the way to always remain steady and always remain in the word, always remain be led by the Spirit mainly.
Hmm. Sometimes people don't understand the power of the church.
Oh
There's a
yes,
scripture that says that he who is planted in the house of the Lord shall prosper, and even in their old age they will flourish and bear good fruit.
good fruit.
They'll still be bearing fruit. And you try to, as a pastor, you try to tell people, come to church, come to church. It's important. You got to come to church. And they think it's just cliche. You're just trying to get them to
It's
be part of
not.
it. But no, it's really life
It
transforming.
is. It
Mhm.
is.
And you sometimes, people of your s- uh, platform or position where you're working with politicians, I've noticed that they tend to attend different types of churches that may be a little more sophisticated. I was talking to a friend of mine, and he called them high church. That there's a high church and low church.
Oh
I don't
wow.
think it was meant to be offensive.
Uh huh.
It's just that and I understood what he was saying,
Hmm.
but there's some churches you're more quiet, everything's more liturgical, everything is precise. And then there's churches like Rock City that is not
Yes.
even close to that,
Not at all.
which is what we non-denominational. Our church is very similar. Um, was that a change to you in the church you came from, or how did you get
Not
used to it?
really. I've been in a non-denominational church for many, many years. I
Mhm.
lived in Brownsville many years, over a decade, and we attended uh, a big church over there, ICC, and it was like this. So I had that experience, and then I came to Corpus. I attended for almost 4 years to this other church. It was similar, but not like Rock City.
All right.
Not like Rock City.
Se ponen medio locos ahí.
It's something else. It's very special.
Yeah, Pastor David Bendet is very hype. He's very energetic,
Yes.
and his worship team. I
Oh
think
my
the
goodness.
church resembles him in that manner.
Totally agree.
Yeah. So congratulations for being there. So so you were 50. What did you say? You were 54
4.
years old, which is very impressive because I'm 50 years old, and almost all the hair on my head is gray. My beard is gray, but yours is nice and dark and colored. And I
Yes.
asked you if you
So
used just for men, pero me dijiste que no.
no, nada, nada.
De buenas que
I
estamos en
cannot.
la iglesia, te vamos a poner a arrepentirte por esa mentira. No, but so you just, that's very impressive because my brother, he's older than me. I think he's 56. He barely started getting any gray hairs. I started
Mm.
getting gray hairs a long time ago, but soy pastor, so that creates a lot of opportunity for gray hair. But what would be your secret? What do you think is your secret in keeping your hair that color?
I it's I'm
Inside
pretty sure it's
genetics.
genes, honestly. I think it's genes. My dad, uh, I had a elderly dad. When I was born, my dad was 59, almost 60.
Mhm.
So I remember when I was a teenager, he was like in his 70s. He hardly had any gray hair.
Are you a stress type of person? High stress?
Yes, but I try to control that. I try to maintain myself within certain parameters because I don't like the big swings on things because
Mhm.
that's a big issue with people, especially people that are celebrities. They
Mhm.
have huge swings, uh, and that could be dangerous in some points because they get high swings where they do something, accomplish something great, a great movie, and it's such a success. Their swing is so great, but just watch out because that swing is coming back with the same speed and it's gonna go to the other opposite, and they get into depression. That's why you see all artists and actors getting depressed and had issues with depression. At some
Suicidal.
point, they commit suicide because the swing came back so super strong. They went to the opposite side and they couldn't take it.
Yeah, that's interesting. I was thinking about that. Um, how I've seen some actors and artists who they get caught up in a particular role that they play, and it almost seems unhealthy. There's this one particular person that played a role in a movie many years ago, and to this day, so I was in high school. Fíjate, I
Mm.
was in high school, so I was 18. So that was many moons ago. And this gentleman still, like when you see him out and about, um, still trying to stick to the character that he played in that movie. And I don't know what happens to artists or to celebrities like that, but I think they get caught up in that fame and they caught up in
True,
the
and
limelight.
but that happens in everything, and something I learned at Rock City. You know, people try to base their identity in whatever they do,
Hmm.
whoever they think they are, um, and not on who you are. You are a son of
Hmm.
God,
Hmm.
and that's something that Rock City. Talking with Pastor David, he taught me that like you're not just a congressional staffer. Don't base your identity on that because you can lose that job anytime.
Hmm.
And if you lose that job and that's your identity, what are you going to do?
Hmm.
Who are you going to be? So your
Yeah,
identity should be you are the son of God.
that's right.
That's your identity,
That's right.
and live with that.
A lot of people idolize these artists and these celebrities without realizing that their life is a mess because they are who they are, who they portray themselves to be in
Hmm.
front of cameras. But many of them don't know Christ. There obviously there's many that do know Christ, but they don't know Christ. And we know in our lives that if we do not know who we are in Christ, life can get pretty difficult, especially in high profile type of
Hmm.
people that are in the view of public. They're in high capacity positions. The stress and the pressures to
Hmm.
be somebody else that perhaps you're not, or that God didn't call you to be, are there. They're great.
Hmm.
I think politics is one of those.
Oh yes,
I believe that Washington can change a person who goes over there with great intentions.
definitely, and it has happened. I of all the candidates, I've seen behind that curtain because I spent 12 years in Congress working for two different members, Congressman Farrell, Congressman Cloud. And if you are not grounded, if you don't know, if you don't have that ground uh, with the Lord, your spirit, your soul with the Lord, man, Washington can eat you alive, will
Mhm,
corrupt you because all temptations are there for you to just whatever you want because everybody's feeding your ego.
mhm.
And that's why it gets to their head. Like their head get like, oh, I am like, you're just a human being.
Your common person don't understand that. They're like, no, I know that person. They wouldn't do that. Or if they look
Mm,
at them like that, they're not doing that for power. They don't understand. I don't think they've had a taste of something like that. Even like with the whole COVID thing, and I've shared this plenty of times, but when our county judge at the time,
oh, yes.
when something like that happens and all of a sudden there's power where you're calling certain shots, it goes to your head. I mean,
Mm.
I was watching her give us permission to have dinner with our families and watch a movie in particular evenings, and people be okay with that. People would comment like, "Oh, thank you, Judge, for letting us in." And I'm like, "What in the world is happening to us?" Like where they started, she started, but it was not just her; it was all over
Mhm.
our country and probably
Yep.
perhaps our world.
Government overreach.
hmm What happens in the person's mind that they begin to hunger and kind of crave after that power, that overreach?
It's
That's dangerous.
it is. It is. It's a scary thing, that you think that you just can will your one and make people do whatever you want them to do.
Mm.
Like, what the heck are you? Like,
Yeah, we just had a socialist win in New York, which was very surprising to me. I it was hard to believe. I didn't think he stood a chance, openly claiming that he was a socialist. But the socialists, they want to tell you, what you're going to do, how you're going to do it, when you're going to do it, and what's best for you. And the people willingly voted for that. Why is the country getting closer and closer to that? It seems like, we've seen people try to get that in unsuccessfully, and now here we are in New York, one of the perhaps most important cities in our
mhm.
country, has just gone socialist.
I don't know what's happening in our country, but let me just tell you one thing. When I came to the U.S. as a foreign student many years ago, many decades ago, I fell in love with America's values because of their values and the ideas.
Mhm.
And I don't recognize the country anymore.
Right.
I don't know what's happening. And it seems like my fear that we're becoming a fatherless nation.
Mhm.
And that's why we're having the problems that we're having. I think our founding fathers, they based everything on the Lord, and we're walking with a purpose away from that because,
Mhm.
and we're becoming a fatherless nation. And that's not where we should be going, honestly.
No, it's significant, and the more we go, the less or the more the enemy attacks
Hmm.
the role of the father, which is the role of authority, which is the position that we must submit to. We we fail to create a person, right? A society that knows how to submit the right way, of course, to authority and live by certain morals and values.
But that's the issue. A lot of the issues that we have as a country is fatherlessness.
hmm
There's no more authority at the house, so there's no one for you to mimic. So
hmm
that's why people look for gangs
Right.
because they want that sense of belonging to someone, to something, to someone. They need. I think human nature was created with that sense of belonging to something, some authority. And instead of seeking the Lord to be that authority, you seek elsewhere.
That or you just don't get it.
Hmm.
And you see a society that
It's crumbling.
begins to feel entitled because they're only having the love of a mother, which a mother is yes, for the most part, is yes, 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 mijo, whatever you want, stop crying. And the father is the no. The father is the one that brings the discipline,
Hmm.
and that's missing.
It is, and there's so this is what the family unit is so important, and it seems like it's been by design to remove the family unit in the U.S. because the importance of mom and dad being at the house, there's a purpose.
Mhm,
Mom brings nurturing
mhm,
as a child. Mom brings the nurturing. The father brings the identity,
mhm,
either as a boy or as a woman. That's what dad does to the kids. It brings that identity, and when you don't have a father, you have no identity.
mm.
You might have the nurturing, but your identity is a mess, and we'll see it in our society in the newest generations that they're
Yeah, I
changing.
see. Whenever the father's missing, there is an incomplete
Yep.
view and a warped perspective
Hmm.
of what love is,
Yep.
because love is kind and gentle. but it is also disciplinary. It is also hard sometimes. You
Mhm.
know, the scripture says the father who does not discipline his child does not love his child. So
True.
there is a um, side of love that they never experience.
Mhm.
They never experience that discipline from a father. So then when they see a candidate like President Trump, he's bad man, right? Bad man, because he's not giving me everything I want. He's not being nice to me. He's being harsh and telling me no. And that's why I think all the animosity towards a figure like that, it
Mhm.
doesn't have to be Trump, but any figure like
Like
that,
that.
they kind of push against. They push against that. And it's almost like they recognize it. Anybody that has that kind of aura about them, that
Mhm.
persona about them, they kick against that.
Mhm. Definitely.
Hmm.
And but it's the lack of a father,
Hmm.
lack of that strong authority to who's gonna put you in your place and just guide you as you go through life.
Yeah.
You know what's right, what's wrong.
Yeah, and now that's a tough climb to have to put that back together, seam that back together into the fabric of our country and our society. That's a tough.
But you know, now that you mentioned discipline, you know, father being the disciplinarian at the house, uh, it's important, extremely important to do it the right way, the godly way. Not don't abuse that authority. Do not. I'm saying that because of the following. The only whenever you bring people to church and you tell them about the Father, the love of the Father, and how He loves you, and all of that, it's hard for people to relate to that whenever they had a father who was abusive.
Mhm.
Because the only image that they have of a dad is my dad. He was very abusive. I don't trust my father. The father that you're talking to me about, I don't trust him. So the if you want your child to grow in the church, they need to have a good image of the earthly father in order to have a very
A
accurate image,
healthy,
a
yeah.
healthy image of our heavenly Father.
Mhm.
Because we as parents or as father can destroy that and hurt our children in
Mhm.
very
It even hurts the church because then you got
yes.
Christians that don't understand the role of a father, only mom, right?
Yep.
So the Bible does bring a lot of correction. It's supposed to
Mhm.
correct us,
Yes,
not tell us that we're fine and dandy and the way we are, but it's supposed to transform us. That's what the scripture
definitely.
says, to be transformed by the renewing of our mind, and
Mhm.
it comes by the washing of the water of the word. So they can't understand anything that brings correction. So it makes it very hard to be a pastor
Yep.
and to have a
Yeah.
church that is functioning properly. The father has to be at the end of our services. We have a moment where we do the father's blessing,
Okay.
where we have the fathers gather all their children to themselves, and they pray over and speak blessing over their children and over their spouses, the men.
Mhm.
We also ask the mothers to that don't have their fathers here to intercede for them. But it is a very important time where the Father blesses. I took a trip to Israel back in 2015, but I went again in 2019,
Okay.
and it was a geopolitical tour that we went on with CUFI, Christians
Oh
United for
yes.
Israel, and we got to go into a Jewish home and observe the Sabbath. So, yeah, it was pretty amazing. So the fathers take a moment in that and they bless their children. So they call their children to them. They speak a word of blessing over them. They sing a song to their spouses. And they do this every Saturday, which it starts Friday night at 6 p.m.
Mhm.
And to me, it's like, no
Oh wow.
wonder, right? No wonder there's such health over there. Why does that make you emotional? I'm seeing that it's hitting you. Tell me about that.
I don't know. It just did. I think family unity. It's important.
Hmm.
For not only for for our country, but God wants a united family.
Hmm.
You know, and sadly, not everybody can say that.
Yeah.
You know,
It hurts the heart of God whenever
it does.
the scripture says that he hates divorce.
Hmm.
And it's because it's ripping something that he loves apart. and
Mhm.
it is detrimental to the children.
Yep.
It is detrimental to the parties involved
They
that
are
are
the ones
getting
who struggle, the kids.
the most. Yes,
Yeah.
it is, and I speak that firsthand experience that the children take the brunt of that blow.
Mhm.
And unfortunately, parents are not considering that when they take that step of divorce. I always try to counsel people and encourage them: do not do it.
Don't.
Oh, it's just that this and this is don't do it. Your children are going to pay the price. And I know you think right now that they'll be okay, but they're going to pay the price and it's going to hurt you.
And
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure you've heard that from different people that you have counseled throughout your years as pastor, where they always say it was my parents' divorce who really
Mhm.
threw me off, and it's never been the same.
I was just reading a book from Edwin Cole, Maximize Manhood.
Oh yes,
And
Ed
they
Call.
talk, yeah, and they talk about people that do the research on that and that children never recover from a divorce. That's harsh. And that's a hard fact to have to deal with, to know that our children that are products of divorce will never, and I know it's the case. I've sat around with adults, grown adults, that were products of divorces and listened to them talk about their lives and how they are still dealing with issues because their parents divorced. Amazing, amazing. And society doesn't understand that. They
Hmm.
they divorce like that.
You
They
know,
do like nothing.
I've met, I've seen a lot of people, adults as well, that have deep wounds caused by their parents,
Mhm,
either by divorce, abuse, you name it.
mhm.
But those deep wounds stay with them for a long, long time, and it takes some people go to counseling for many years in order to get over that, and it's hard.
Yeah, it
It
creates
doesn't
a
have to be like that.
yeah, it creates a very strange dynamic.
Yes.
I have my sister who has 5 children, one of my sisters, and she's married. And the family dynamics is very interesting because they'll be there in front of us all, and my sister will start getting on one of the kids, and then the dad will get, and they have nowhere to go but their room. They don't have the option to go with the other parent. That doesn't even go through their head, so they don't have to deal um, with that option in their
Mhm.
head. So they go to the room and they get over it. And it becomes a very healthy, safe environment for those children to grow up and to be productive, not have to worry about where they're going to spend next week or next
Mhm.
weekend at. Just chaotic for those children. I don't know why we got on this subject, but it's that father issue. And how
Yes.
many children do you have, Luis?
2.
Two children,
2 girls.
two girls. Yeah, I have two girls.
The
Uh,
best.
yeah, I always said, people always ask, do you want a boy? I said, I mean, if it happened, that'd be fine. But if I had another girl, it'd be fine because I'm happy with my daughters. Aunque no
Yeah.
siempre a veces te hacen la vida pesada.
And I was just talking, having dinner about that when I had, because I was sharing with him that my dad at some point he sat with, I have some with my family, with my mom we're 6. My dad got married 3 times,
Mhm,
you know, and we're the third last family. And at one time, I think we were teenagers, and he called my 2 brothers and myself. I'm a twin. He called my twin and my older brother, and he sat us on the table, and I said, whenever you get married, you have to make sure you have boys, because so you can keep our last name going. I'm like, oh wow, oh sure, deal, big deal. I'll do that. And so when we struggled to have babies, my wife and I, we were married. We waited almost 8 years, so we had to go to in vitro, all of that, and
mm,
my girls were frozen,
mm,
and she wanted a boy for me, and I told her all the time, look, I'll have whatever the Lord wants to give us. The only thing I'm praying, gorgeous baby and a healthy baby.
mhm,
Doesn't matter, boy or girl. He gave us a girl.
mhm.
Second time around that we went through the process of in vitro, she said, you want a boy? Like, no, I want a little sister for my daughter.
Mm. And she got her.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's important, the siblings. I
Yeah.
wanted a lot of
Yes.
children because nosotros éramos cinco, and then when I was a senior in high school, we found out we had an older daughter, an older sister
Hmm.
that my dad, didn't know about before he
Okay.
got married. She started looking for her dad, y lo
Oh,
encontró. So we met, and now it's just like we've
we had
been.
the same thing. Well,
Mhm,
the first marriage, my dad had 5 kids, and we know them all. We always grew. Since I was a kid, they always came to the house, even though they were older. Um, but then back in 1982, a daughter found him. He she came to from Guadalajara. She came all the way to Ciudad Victoria and got to the bus station, and then she called the house. It was around noon, and my dad answered the call, and we were having lunch. And is this Alberto Buentello? He said, yeah. Oh, I'm so and so. I am your daughter. Stop playing games. Hangs up the
mhm,
phone.
mhm.
Didn't say anything else to anybody. A few weeks later, he gets a letter from her and reads through the whole thing and gives the letter to my mom. And my mom reads the 4-page letter.
Mm,
So she's my daughter. Well, call her, bring her.
vente.
I don't know where she lives. So my mom went to Guadalajara and looked until she found the house
Wow,
and welcomed her. And you gotta come and visit and come meet all the family.
wow.
And they came in 1982.
Mhm,
And my twin brother looks like a lot like one of the sons, her sons.
mm.
It was just like wow. And you can tell you same last name, Buentello.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's how we met my sister, my oldest sister.
Uh huh.
She came over. They found out. My dad talked to my mom and then talked to us if we wanted to meet her. I said, absolutely, bring her.
Hmm.
So she came over with my two nieces, estaban chiquitas in little dresses. Yeah. Ahora son tres. And now they're all married and two of them have kids. One of them has plenty of kids. But yeah, now she's like we've always known her.
Yes.
Feels
Yes.
like she's been part
It's
of the family
great.
forever. So that's interesting, and I've been able to see a little bit of your heart concerning children, and it gets to us a lot,
Oh
and
yes.
and the role of the father. My father passed almost 2 years ago. Next month it'll be 2 years, and that role to me is just like vital.
Hmm.
Who my dad was in my life was super vital. I can't imagine a kid having to go through life not having that. And what was a nightmare for I used to listen to that song from Conway Twitty. I don't know if you know it. It's called "That's My Job," where he says he wakes up crying late at night. And he had dreamt his father had passed away and gone. And he said, "My world revolved around him. I couldn't lie there anymore. So I made my way down the mirrored hall and I tapped upon his door." And then he says, "Daddy, I'm so afraid. How will I go on with you gone that way? May I stay with you?" Something like that. And he says, "That's my job. That's what I do. Everything I do is because of you to keep you safe with me. That's my job." You see, he said, man, when I was little, I was like, that was like my nightmare that my dad would pass, at the age of, was I 48, pasó. And it was just surreal. It was the most painful experience I've ever
Yep.
experienced. But there was a lot of joy. God gave me joy during the time as well. It was strange,
Hmm.
but we had peace. He was a believer, so we know where he was at, and it was just a different type of pain, a different type
Hmm.
of hurt. And I guess only somebody who's lost a parent or somebody real close to them like that can understand that. That I guess
Yeah.
everybody.
Yeah. Yeah. I was 25 when
Mhm.
my dad passed.
See,
He was 84 when he passed. I was 26,
wow,
25.
84.
Yeah. He was
Vivió
84.
bien. Yeah.
Hmm.
So let's those are very personal
Yes.
parts of your life and your heart, and you are running for Congress, that you're going to be covering a big district, but you live in Corpus Christi. Right?
Hmm.
What is the condition of Corpus Christi right now, man? It almost seems like Corpus always wants to progress, but sometimes it's stuck in some areas. In some areas, I think it's a great city.
It is.
But there's some areas that I wish it could just kick kick some things off of itself and get going. What's the state of Corpus Christi?
Well, as of late,
Didn't they just have the state of the city? I didn't get
instead
to
of the
go.
city was on
The 5th or
the
something.
5th.
Did you get to
Yes.
make that?
No, I couldn't. I was working and I was at a different event
Mm-hmm.
the same day. But as you know, the big issue is the water. The water is taking priority because of what it represents, not only for the residents but also for all the industry and different companies that use a lot of water in Corpus Christi. So that's something that is always at the top of the priority for our elected officials, local elected officials, and some people in the state at the state level.
I heard that Abbott kind of rebuked the city leadership for not taking the desal
No,
plan.
I don't think that's what he said. I
That's
think
what he
they,
said.
I don't. I think it was that was taken out of context, but I don't think that
I didn't
was
see it or hear it. I just saw
Yeah, but
like an article.
yes, but that's not what he said.
So what is the deal with that? Like, I know if you run for Congress, is that going to be an issue that you're going to have to deal with, or no?
That's usually so
It's
there's
local?
it's local issue. So there's different levels of government, as you know, federal, state, and local.
Mhm.
And that's a local issue, and if elected, you gotta find ways to help. Definitely.
Mhm.
I don't know if there's grants or opportunities to do something like that. Earmarks, something that, but earmarks, I don't think earmarks would be the way because you don't get a lot of money for the earmarks.
Mhm.
So there has to be a program or some grants. I don't know. It's
had
going to be a lot.
Texas Railroad Commissioner Jim Wright
Mhm.
on a few episodes back, and he was talking about a water source that has to do with the oil, where they have to take, excuse me, water out of the ground. They have to do something with that water after it's taken out. And it would be a great water source. It would have to be treated a little bit to take some of the elements out, but then it could, once treated, it could be thrown into the rivers to be brought our direction. He says
Okay.
that there's more than enough of that
Probably.
water that could kind of help at least supplement what we need as a city. Have you heard about that?
I have not heard that.
Okay.
What you're referring to? I know that the city's been working on different wells and other projects too.
The 7 Seas.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and is that some viable option that they have for that?
It could be, but
I hear so many things, and it's just
there's a lot of information going around, and so I don't know what's going to happen. It's just
I just feel like
votes to get something done.
I just feel like Corpus Christi city government has been so just what's the word? What's the word I want to say? Just ineffective. You know what I mean? No compone nada. They don't do anything. It seems like if you would just do something, like you would get some kind of credit and just fix a road. There's a comedian that came into town. His name is John Christ.
Oh, yes.
John Christ. Were you there?
Christian guy.
Were you there? No.
I wanted to go. I didn't.
It was just a few years back.
Yes.
And the guy, they did a video of them driving through Corpus. And they played it, right? And he was criticizing the city big. I mean, that's a comedian. They're going to do that.
Yeah.
But he was so accurate. Like he was hitting on the potholes, on the cleanliness of the water. He's, I wouldn't get in that water. He was just like, the people were just cracking up because he was so accurate. He said, it almost seems okay here downtown, but it just starts getting worse and worse as you get away from it. It just starts falling apart. He said, and I'm like, wow, somebody that is not from here can come in here and make an assessment that is that accurate of our city so quickly.
Mhm.
And sometimes aquí nosotros all our life, and we can't seem to pinpoint some of the areas that we could work on.
So to me, earlier this year, I went to an event at the university, and there was a guy who came and spoke. Well, I'm sorry, he couldn't make it. Some flight delayed, so he did it virtually through Zoom. And he said, "What kills a city, what kills anything, is lack of collaboration. You have to work together. You have to collaborate with each other in order to move your city or your state forward.
Mhm.
If you don't have collaboration, you will kill any project."
How long have you been in Corpus?
It's going to be 13 years in January 12th.
13 years. Okay. So you weren't here when SeaWorld wanted to come here then.
SeaWorld, I have no
SeaWorld,
idea.
I heard SeaWorld wanted to come here. Fiesta Texas wanted to be here.
Mm-mm.
And they just made it
Tillman
almost
Fertitta
impossible.
wanted to come here.
Who's that?
Tillman Fertitta.
What's that?
Tillman, he's a wealthy guy out of Houston who wanted to develop the waterfront. Kima, have you heard of Kima?
Oh,
Well,
I was going to bring that up.
he is the one who built Kima. He's the founder and who developed that. He
I was
wanted to
gonna-
do the same thing here.
I was going to bring that up because it was all over the news. And I remember the conversation that they aired on the news when he was saying, "Hey, look, we don't have to deal with this. We're out. You don't want us, we're out." Because they kept trying to do it. Supposedly there was another local developer that wanted to do something there on the Bayfront also. And he said, if you bring Kima, if you allow Landry's for that to do it, then I'm not going to do my project. So Corpus was just going back and forth, giving Landry's a hard time until they just said, you know what? We don't have to deal with this.
Mhm.
We're out. And then once they backed out, the other guy said he wasn't going to do it either. Do you remember that?
I wasn't here.
Oh, you weren't
This
here?
is the information that I got after the fact. I think that was 2008, 2009. I have no idea when it happened, but it was just Tillman Fertitta got very upset and he said, "I'll never bring my money to
Yeah,
Corpus Christi."
that's that. They aired the phone call. I don't know how they got the phone call, but I was like, wow, I cannot believe it. Even Whataburger Field would not have happened because they kept rejecting that. It would not have happened, I believe, if it had not been for the aviators, the Corpus Christi aviators over here at the fairgrounds in Robstown. They came in successful. It was doing great. People would come in and attend and watch baseball semi-pro. And I believe they saw that and said they allowed the Ryans to come in and then do the Whataburger Field. And then they just killed the aviators. They sucked all the fan base over there. And it was over for like that Amazon Stadium right here on here in Robstown that is deteriorating because of that.
Wasn't supposed to a softball team, female?
Yeah, the
Did that ever happen?
it did briefly. And then it didn't. It wasn't successful. So
Another trying to bring a soccer in Corpus Christi.
Yeah, they're building a stadium in Corpus for that. Yeah, I don't know the name of them. The team, it's existing already. I think they're. I don't know if the tidal wave or something like that. But yeah, I mean, it's a little frustrating. It's a look at me about our city. Like I love Corpus. I think it's great.
It's a great city.
But the government, they can't make a decision to save their lives. They just can't make a decision. That's one of the things that I loved about Trump. I used to watch him on The Apprentice. I loved his decisiveness.
Yes.
The guy would make a decision, yeah, you're fired.
That's it.
They'd walk out. He never looked to his assistants and say, what do you think? Did I make the right decision? No, he'd make a decision and that was it. And that's something that I see a lack of in a lot of leadership. And I would say even in mine, I wish I was more decisive. But are you a decisive person? Can you make decisions like...
Once I make the decision, yes.
You stick to it.
Yeah.
That's good.
I do my research, but once I make the decision, that's it. There's no looking back.
That's good. That's good because an uncle of mine may say, you make a decision because if it's right or wrong, it doesn't matter. You'll course correct if you make the wrong decision and you'll end up where you need to be.
If you lose, don't lose the lesson.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. But if you don't make a decision, you're already wrong.
Yep.
No vas a hacer nada. And that's something, his words, él falleció también before my dad did. And his words stayed in my mind that you have to make a decision. And it's still hard. It doesn't make it easy.
Just go back to the Bible. Don't be lukewarm.
Yes.
Be either hot or cold.
Yes, sir. Let your yes be yes.
Exactly.
And your no be no.
Yes. We're humans. We're we make mistakes. You
Yeah.
can learn from those mistakes.
I
Don't
think
repeat them.
leadership is tough
It's tough. It's hard.
because you have to make decisions like that. And sometimes it affects a lot of people. But you have to make them.
Yep.
And I respect people who can make decisions like that, and then they go with it, and they do
But
everything.
you gotta weigh a lot of things
Right.
before making a decision. Don't just go
Yes.
without really considering.
Yes.
The higher you get in leadership, the longer it takes to make a decision. When you are a low level, when your decision affects not a lot of people, it's an easier decision. But when your decision affects a lot, take time to make a decision. Consider everything before making that decision.
I think that's true. I also believe that you grow what's the word? You grow familiar in making decisions. Like you're able to now read things to where you're able to make those complicated decisions quicker, gaining the information faster, processing it faster, and then saying, I gotta shoot now. And I got to make this decision, this call, because if you wait too long, even the right decision is the wrong decision. So you have to take all those things and learn to do it quicker. It's almost like intuition. You gain an instinct into making
that's
decisions.
some experience.
Yeah,
absolutely, because things tend to repeat themselves.
Yeah,
so you know what's going to happen.
Yeah, I have to get better at that. I definitely do. I see a lot of places where I just don't make a decision.
In every way.
Absolutely. But that's one of the areas where I need to make improvements. Before we wrap up, because time's getting out of our hand, you're running for District 34 Congress.
Yes.
Tell me what your heart is behind that, and what you plan to do for this district, which it goes all the way down to Brownsville, right?
Yes.
Brownsville is Cameron County. Is that correct? It goes all the way over here.
Cameron, Willacy, Kennedy, Clayburgh. And
it stops where? Is Glen Island part of 34?
Yep.
It is.
So the only thing is downtown Corpus Christi, the port, just streets along Crosstown, all the way to SPID.
And that's becomes
27,
which is now Michael Clouds.
Yes, and Port Aransas also 27.
Okay.
That's those. Yes, those are not part of 34. The rest is 34.
Does Jim Wells also? I mean, not Jim Wells. Does District 15 also take a little clip of that?
It comes all the way to Portland, down on this side of 181, and if you go to Rockport, the west side of 35, it's 15. The east side is 27, which is a few blocks into, and then the water.
And that's due to the redistricting. Is that going to help us? And by us, I mean conservative Republican.
Yeah, that was the intent. Yes.
Yes. And you believe that it's going to do that. So tell me, you winning this, what's your heart behind it? What do you want to do with it?
One of the things, it's I'm not looking for a title. My heart is for my country. I've been hurting for my country because it's not it's not the same country I fell in love with. When what happened to Charlie Kirk, that devastated me. Like, what's going on with our country? We're not like that. What is happening? And my fear is, who's next? If we continue the way we continue, we're doing, there's going to be a next. I don't want that. And it could be on either side. And that's not America. And a lot of that stem from the lack of decorum, the lack of respect for the other side. Period. We need to be able to disagree with respect.
Right.
I don't agree with them totally. In most of the issues, I don't agree with the other side, but I cannot be demeaning of them.
Right.
They're still humans. you know,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
so we need to bring respect back in Congress.
And it happens a lot in platforms like this. Um, I've I've been, what's the word? Encouraged, if you will, to bring people in here that I do not agree with, which is,
Mhm.
I believe that's what Charlie Kirk did. He went, put a microphone in schools, and anybody and everybody could step up, voice their opinion and their side, and then try to defend it. And I had Bobby Pulido here a
Okay.
few episodes back, and he's running as a Democrat. I do not agree with the Democratic platform.
No.
He is very conservative, to be honest. If you listen to him speak, he's conservative, and there's some
So
really.
why is he running as a Democrat?
That's a good question. That's a good question because he believes that Democrats used to be for those things. I don't know if perhaps they were at some point, but they're not anymore. And the problem with that is he believes he can go make a difference. I would be afraid that if he did win, that the machine up there would consume him and change. I'm not saying that out of disrespect for him.
Sure.
I think he's a great guy. He was very personable, se portó muy bien, and I liked him, right?
Hmm.
But that machine up there is a monster. That Washington will,
You gotta be grounded in the Lord.
yeah,
Otherwise,
and it'll force you. They'll force you to get in line and do as they tell you to do, and vote party.
so this is the reality of things. Because as I mentioned to you earlier, I spent 12 years, and people think I've been through so many races and different candidates running, and they think that they can bully their way, and I'm gonna go to DC and I'm gonna tell them what to do. You have no idea how the system works.
Mhm.
There's nothing you can do. You can scream all you want, you're gonna be ignored. First of all, when you get to Congress as a new member of Congress, you're at the bottom of the totem pole.
Mhm.
There's 435 people.
Mhm.
You're at the bottom. You have no leverage whatsoever.
Mhm.
Nothing. You think you can just will your power and power, because there's really no power, and tell them to do the things you want them to do? Like that's not the way it works. You
Mhm.
gotta you go there to learn, to listen. What I would do immediately is start building coalitions.
Start what?
Building coalitions
Oh
with
yeah,
people,
yeah, yeah.
because that's how you get things done.
Mm.
Start talking, getting to know other members that think alike, and especially Christian men, and
Mhm.
like, what can we do together?
Yeah,
Period. Because they might be higher on the ranking,
yeah,
and they have more leverage than I would have. You know?
yeah, yeah. Washington needs God, man. We are part. I am part of um, Liberty Pastors, the
Okay.
Remnant Alliance. I think you're familiar with that,
Hmm.
with them. And our goal is to get the church more involved in that
Hmm.
arena.
Yes.
So when Pastor uh, mentioned to me that you'd be running, I thought that was excellent because we need more God. And
Yes.
usually on the Republican side, you're going to find a lot of believers,
Hmm.
¿verdad?
Definitely.
Um, and we need that in our government.
So to me, is God first.
Yes.
As we talk about conservatives, America first. Yes, I agree, but let's put God first. Everything else will fall in place.
We do have to put God first, but we have to put God first, not in a mainstream way, because you know how people say America is a Christian nation, pero tan por puertas. This nation is not necessarily following Christ, so it has to be an authentic, genuine
Mhm.
Christianity.
Yep.
Let's put God first, not just any God, right? Not just to placate. We're putting God here,
Mm-mm.
but a truth. And this
You
is,
gotta be genuine.
yeah, and this is putting God there when sometimes it's not popular or
Mhm.
people are not going to understand. But you, as a believer, know that this is God and this is what needs to be done. You ready to do that out there?
Yes, definitely. And there's a lot of when I was in Congress, when I started working for Congressman Cloud, we had a chief of staff, or the first chief of staff, a great guy, Christian brother, uh, Stuart Burns. and he retired already. And he I was surprised. He told me, "Oh yeah, there's meetings, weekly meetings with chief of staff, Christians. Time to go read the Bible, and they get together and they read the Bible and they share with each other." I'm like, "What?" He said, "Oh yeah, it happens every week." He was part of the group, and he said there's members that do the same thing, members and chief of staffs,
Mhm.
and I had no idea. And Michael is part of that. Whenever my Congressman Cloud got elected, I helped him build pastoral councils across the district, just to gather pastors. Hey, let's visit with the congressman and time to a time for prayer and see what are the needs of the church. And I remember that the first year in 2019, we held an event in Rockport for pastors. And we brought a guy from First Liberty out of Dallas. All they do, it's a nonprofit organization, a bunch of lawyers who defend religious freedom across the U.S. And he said, I never seen a case. There's never been a case in the U.S. where a church loses their 501c3 because they preach from politics from the pulpit.
No.
They're not going to do that.
No, and then they just passed something, some legislature too, but it was already, the IRS already said they're not going to do that. But even if they did, to be honest, so what? Que nos quiten el 501c3.
You
What's
don't have
the
to
big
have
deal?
one. You don't have to have it.
You're going
to be exempt. You don't have to have a 501c3 to be exempt.
No, but right, that's correct. The church is exempt automatic. But even that, you're going to sell your voice. You're going to sell what God has put you to say for a measly tax break. Por favor, like you got no business being a church or pastoring or anything like that.
And even, I love Pastor David because he makes known his stand on politics. If you believe in LGBTQ and all these other woke ideas, I'm sorry, that's wrong.
Right.
Like he tells you, and sometimes people walk out. I'm like, hey, you're free, but this is what I believe. I report to him. God is the one that keeps me accountable. So I need to tell you what I need to tell you.
Right.
If you like it or not, it's not on me.
Right. And we have to, as pastors, this country was founded, I know that people say it was founded on Christianity, but in order for you to run for office in the original colonies, you had to be a Christian. At the time, it was Protestant Christian. I think two was Catholic. You had to be a Catholic, but in the majority of them, you had to be a Protestant Christian, not just a Christian, a Protestant Christian. So this nation, like, we have to be involved. That whole separation of church and state is not even part of our documents or anything like that.
It was a letter the pastor of
that was sent to some Baptist pastors.
Jefferson. Yeah, Baptist pastor sent it to Jefferson, and the intent of that letter was to protect the church from the government, not the other way around. Yeah. Now they're using it the other way around. They want to protect the government from the church. Like the church is never a threat to the government. It's the other way around.
Right. Well, we are a threat to the type of government that they want to instill, and that's what they don't like, and that's why they're trying to keep us out of it. And there's a lot of pastors that are surrendering themselves to that, and they don't want any part of that. But we got to wake up as pastors, and we got to start
as a church.
Yes,
not only as pastors, as a church.
Yes, and defending and promoting and putting people in the proper places. So I thank God that we have candidates like yourself that want to take God into that arena, and they'll take him because he's in their heart. And wherever you go, he'll go. I think it's going to be an interesting race.
It is, Luis. Interesting.
I'm glad to see you.
And at the end of the day, who it's in the Bible, who establishes governments? God. He is the one who establishes governments.
Right.
So he's going to elect the next member of 34.
That's right. And that's a piece that we have as believers. All things work out together for the good of those who love God and those who are the called according to his purpose.
My job is to run. If he wants me to get elected, he's going to get me elected. If he said, no, Luis, you're not going to be, no matter what I do, I'm not going to be. I am fine with that.
Amen.
Because he's the one that leads my steps.
Amen.
Period.
Amen. Well, we'll be praying for you. We'll be praying for this race.
Pray for America.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
We need to pray for America.
Absolutely. It's been enjoyable listening to not just the politics side of you, but your personal and your heart. And I think it showed in some areas that we talked about. Sometimes it just slips out like that. Right? You can't.
We're humans.
Yeah.
We're humans.
Mr. Luis Buentello, thank you for joining me in the den.
Great honor to be here with you.
Yes,
Thank you.
sir.
Thank you so much.